Ciao ragazzi!
Hi guys! Welcome back to another episode of Pop the Prosecco with the Pasinis. Amore, what are we talking about today?
Today we're gonna talk about olive oil, extra virgin olive oil.
This is such a huge request. So many people message us asking for not only a recommendation for olive oil, but how to find authentic olive oil, how to tell the real stuff from the fake stuff, what it should taste like, how to pair it with things. There's so many questions about olive oil, so we decided to devote an entire podcast episode to olive oil.
Yes, and then if you just missed it, we just published a YouTube video where actually we're gonna show you how to taste olive oil properly. So, but just for let you know how you need to do it, amore. So, allora, you take a olive oil. Let's say you take from the grocery store. What you need to do? You take a cup,
Gotta make sure that the cup does not have any scent to it.
Yes.
No soap, no dusty
Nothing. Need
storage smell. Needs to be without
smell, clean, without scent. Then you put the olive oil inside the cup. Then you take a paper towel.
How much olive oil? About a tablespoon or two.
A little bit, 3 tablespoons. Like, let's do 3 because you need to taste it. So go ahead. Then you take a paper towel. You cover the top. And then with your hand in the bottom, you're gonna warm up the olive oil.
So you turn the cup.
You turn the cup
in your hand.
In the hand, and you start warm up the olive oil. Then after, when you feel it's warm, the cup, a little bit at the bottom, you remove the paper towel and you try it, and you smell. You smell all the sentence. And probably
what are you looking for?
Well, probably you smell plastic. Okay? You smell a lot of plastic.
He's saying you probably smell plastic if you bought grocery store olive oil. What you're looking for is the scents of the olive oil. Things like fresh grass, green almond, olives itself. You want to smell freshness. You want to smell real things and not chemicals or a smell that smells rancid or something that's stale or bad or chemical plastics.
You're gonna know this immediately. So what you need to do right now, go to your little cabinet. In the meantime, can you listen to this podcast, put in that, and then smell your olive oil. Trust me, probably you're gonna smell chemicals or plastic.
So after you smell, what's the next step?
Well, the next step it is you sip a little bit olive oil, and then you need to... How you can explain, like...
I'll try to explain it.
Yeah.
So you get the olive oil in your mouth, and you sort of have to throw it to the back of your throat by breathing in through, like...
The sound is this.
Lips. Yeah, you'll have to go and see the visual on the YouTube video.
You have to go.
But you're trying to breathe in, and when you do that, it sprays the olive oil into the back of your throat.
Yes.
So that you can then... exhale through your nose and then smell the oil from the inside.
Such an expert, amore.
So when you get it to the back of your throat, what are you looking for?
Well, if it start have a little bit of spiciness, like tingling.
Kind of like a burning, peppery, bitter type flavor and experience.
Yes, means that you are on the right path because the polyphenol is make you have that sensation. So more polyphenol and more you have that sensation.
If you feel something smooth, soft, buttery, light, that is not good.
Yeah, especially in the lips.
And that's kind of the sign of, number one, an olive oil that's not as high quality, like it doesn't have high polyphenol.
Yes.
Doesn't have low acidity or high monounsaturated fats. And it could also be an olive oil that is more rancid or oxidized. Or just an olive oil that's been created to have this smooth taste that will appeal to people who don't know any better about the flavor that it should have and might not necessarily be a pure extra virgin olive oil.
Exactly. So this is a great explanation.
The key is you're going to need to try this process with multiple olive oils.
Definitely.
Because if you try it with just one olive oil, it's going to be difficult to compare it to something else. You really need to try different types of olive oil, different price points of olive oil, different sources for your olive oil, and try this taste test to really compare them between each other. Otherwise, you aren't going to know, oh, this olive oil had that nice spicy bite to it, or if it was smooth and buttery if you can't compare it to something else.
Yes, we always recommend olive oil extra virgin from Intimium, the company, because we search a lot in this, how you say, market, like industry. We figure out that this is actually a good price point for the quality, because polyphenol we're going between 300 to even 600. So 300 is the minimum.
350.
350, sorry. 350 is the minimum that we know that you have there. Then you can buy it and then actually to be a 600, you know?
Right. He has different levels of olive oil, from sort of an all-around cooking and eating olive oil, which is the one that is 350. Then he has different levels all the way up to Intenso, which is the one that has over the 600
Exactly.
level.
Then another thing, because we love Intimio, it is for the packaging. Because let's talk about plastic against glass. Okay, plastic. Most people, they don't know that the oxygen, they penetrate the plastic and they go to the olive oil. So the olive oil, when it's antioxidant, go with the oxygen.
And it oxidizes.
It oxidizes.
And it actually reverses those good, healthy processes that you want from olive oil, which is being an antioxidant. And it reverses that, and you're actually consuming things that are bad for you rather than good for you.
Exactly. But not just that, it is the oxidant means that they're eating the plastic. So when it's storage in the boat or other things for long travel,
might not be temperature controlled.
Exactly. So in that case, with the heat and other thing,
it leaches out the plastic.
Speed more the process, and then plastic's gonna go. Obviously, this is the problem. The plastic problem, it is for everything, for the water, for other things. Plastic is not good. Containers, but even olive oil, especially in olive oil, because this process is gonna speed up more.
So the reason we love the Intimio packaging is because he not only packages in glass, but the spout where the olive oil comes from is specially designed to keep as much oxidation out of the olive oil as possible.
Exactly. And then ship from Italy with the refrigeration boats, and not just in normal boats, that it is like a cheap way. So when you go to the website, maybe you can find different price point, $30 or something like that. And we want to specify, okay, it's $30 because it is shipping, packaging, labeling, but another thing, it is about the people, workers.
Right. So one thing that a lot of people are shocked about when they first start looking to buy a good quality olive oil is the price, because when you pair it to something that you buy in the grocery store, the prices for olive oil can seem very high. When you start buying small batch olive oil or high quality olive oil in glass bottles, people are often shocked. Italiano from Intimio is about $30 for 16 ounces, and the smaller bottles that he has of the more specialty olive oils can be more about $45 per bottle. So a lot of people have reached out to us and said, oh my goodness, it's so expensive. Why is it so expensive? Number one, it's just a higher quality olive oil than what you're buying in the grocery store. It's tested in the lab to make sure it's free from pesticides, to make sure that it's actually organic, and to make sure it has all these chemical properties that we're telling you that it has. Number two, the packaging is more expensive than a plastic bottle. Obviously, it's glass, so it's going to be pricier. And number three, like Alessio said, Intimio makes sure that they pay their farms and farmers a fair wage. One thing that a lot of people don't realize, when you're buying a more affordable olive oil in a large quantity, a lot of times those big companies, those huge corporations and manufacturers are not paying the farms and farmers a good living wage in order to get more olive oil for a less amount of price. But at Intimio, they pride themselves on paying everybody along the way that touches your olive oil a fair price. So, of course, that goes into the final bottle price being higher than what you might be used to.
Yes. I want to just add something about what you just said, like price point. Because you said, price for even you can find $100, and maybe people thinking, oh, this may be $100 butter justify pay more the people on the farms, packaging. No, exactly. No, exactly. Because sometimes you can find people selling $70 barrel or $80 barrel promise you it is a good oil, but it's not. The point it is the labs. When people, if they're doing the correct labs, give the correct results and tell the public what they're selling for. Okay, that's why we pushing Intimio, because we saw the labs and we know where we're going with this oil. Respect other people, cause I don't know. You should take oil and do a lab. Obviously, up there, I think it is a lot of honest people, but even not honest people like try to, oh, let's say put this oil, we mix it. People I don't know.
It's tricky. There's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of different processes that people claim to be better than others. It can be very tricky. You guys always ask us what we recommend. We've had conversations about Intimio with the owner. He's extremely passionate about olive oil. He shared all of his metrics with us. We've had multiple conversations. He's a professional olive oil sommelier, and we can vouch for this specific olive oil because we've done the research on this specific oil.
But you can choose anything you want, but we want to try to give you all the instruments for decide what is the good oil for you.
Some things that you're looking for too, just to touch on it, is not only high polyphenols, but high monounsaturated fats, low acidity. You want to look for those things because those are what give the olive oil its good health benefits.
Exactly. This is the metrics you need to find. Obviously, another thing it is, Intimio olive oil can taste a little bit amaro. Okay, amaro in English is
bitter.
Better. So for make a nice example, it is when you eat dark chocolate. The dark chocolate, it is really better. Okay, maybe some people don't like it, but if you add milk and then come like a milk chocolate, is bad for you because it's sugar, but most people like it, that kind of things.
Because it's an easier flavor.
It is. Same thing with the oil. You have more taste better, but it is more good for you, for all your system, polyphenol, all that kind of stuff.
The more bitter one.
Bitter one, yeah. If you instead, it is more tasty for you, means that oil probably it is dilution with different oils for try to...
Olive oil shouldn't taste like butter.
No.
It shouldn't be smooth.
No,
and anybody who's telling you that's the way it should be is wrong.
And do you know why, amore? Do you try an olive in the tree?
Yes, it is extremely bitter and you want to spit it out immediately.
Exactly.
It's not like the olives in the jar.
No.
I was expecting it to be like the olives in the jar, and it's not.
It's not olives in the jar.
So if that's where the olive oil comes from,
yeah,
that's what it should be in its flavor.
Then it is another thing I want to talk about. How you work olive oil, because even here is a lot of misinformation, because guys, marketing is the best. Okay, always they try to sell you amazing story, a love story, and they try to sell you the love story of the olive oil. So when you see the farmers and they take the olives and they put in this little
stone mill, cranking away, grinding it down.
Oh my God, you there with your heart.
Looks so cute.
Oh, so beautiful. Actually, it is the wrong elaboration, guys. To be honest, a lot of people, I don't know how working olive oil, but think about, we just talked about oxygen, before. So
oxygen is bad.
Oxygen is bad. So if you trim the olive over there, means the oxygen go to the olive, right? So start already bad processing. And
it's actually crazy because now with the better technology that we have to create olive oil, you get better and better quality olive oil with more of those nutrients and more of those healthy benefits than what you had in the past.
But
with the more old-fashioned
exactly,
methods.
but it's not romantic because you see a machine, they remove the oxygen, they take off the olive
It's
or
not
whatever.
beautiful.
It's not beautiful.
But
So
the end product is
the
always
end
beautiful.
product is the real olive oil. So sometimes you listen, even people say, "Oh, my grandfather go pick up the olives from the tree and then they make the best olive oil." Well,
That's a lovely story.
it is just lovely story. I'm sorry to broken dreams up there, but even my grandfather was the thing. I was love the olive oil, but it's not working like that.
You have to look at what the process is and how it affects the chemical properties of the olive oil. And it is true that the more modern methods produce higher
better
polyphenols, less oxidation. It produces a better olive oil.
Yes, it's just the truth. And then the problem in this case, a lot of misinformation over there, and then the marketing try to push in this direction for try to have more, selling stuff.
It's easier to sell a beautiful story than it is to sell
a machine.
A machine. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just that. So we want to just tell you all this information just for you when you're shopping around, you go to the grocery store, and then you try to find olive oil. A lot of people in YouTube, ask me another question. Ask me what I can to do because I cannot afford $30 olive oil. What I can to do. Well, this is heartbreaking for me to say, but because a lot of people said, "Oh, you can buy olive oil cheap." No, you cannot find a cheap olive oil. To be honest, you cannot find it because
unfortunately, with olive oil, you're getting what you pay for.
Exactly.
Most of the time.
But in everything, I mean, shrimps or other things, tuna, other products.
There is no magic olive oil that's going to be super cheap. That's going to be better than everything else.
So
when you have a lower price, you have lower benefits.
Exactly.
Lower quality.
But I want to just say, when you try to find the olive oil, try to go with your what you can to do. If you can afford a $10 olive oil, okay. So don't buy the $5 because you can find the $10 and go with your budget and try to looking how much polyphenol have. Taste it. Go home, taste couple olive oils and then say, okay, this is much bettering. Maybe I prefer the $8 because I feel more polyphenol. So that is what your path to do it. Because I don't want to tell you that is your only option because everybody can do what
you
can
have to do just the best with what you're able to do.
Yes.
And that is the truth. But, we would be misinforming you if we said, oh, this $5 olive oil is the best olive oil that we've ever seen. Yeah. So definitely, like Alessio said, do what you can within your budget, what's comfortable for you, do your research, and these are the things that you're looking for, and get as close as you can within your budget.
Yes. And then another thing, olive oil can to be found, good olive oil can to be found everywhere.
Right. We love Italy, obviously. But anywhere could produce a great olive oil.
You can go in Greece, in Spain, in France, in South Italy, North Italy, other places. I mean, the funny thing, do you know what is, amore? The olive oil usually is not growing where is good weather. It is where is the worst condition for the olive oil.
Because then it produces the fruit that has the good health benefits.
Exactly. So it is so strange because a lot of people thinking, oh,
it has to be where the beautiful weather is.
It has to be with the beautiful weather. No, it could be in Umbria. Okay, maybe it's in the hill from no sun or in really hard conditions and the trees growing right there with not too much sun. The best oil.
Well, that also reminds me of what we were talking about in the YouTube video about the size of the trees and how much olive oil you can produce from one tree.
Okay, let's give a second for the people. Think about, guys, how much olive oil can you make with one tree? I give you 3 seconds and we're gonna tell you the answer. Anzi, my amore tell you the answer. So 1, 2, and 3.
About a liter.
Yes. About a liter or a liter and a half.
So think about how many trees
you
need to produce enough olive oil.
Exactly. So when I told you this, and you know this, it is just one olive oil, so 1 liter, 2 liters, let's say dramatic 2 liters, so 2 bottles the olive oil. How many trees you need for produce? So think about the big company. And then think about the weather. Not always the weather can to be good. So the big company go there, give me all your olives, what you got, and then mix with Spain, mix with Greece, mix with this, and then they sell you for $6.
Yes.
Okay, so
You have to
now
think logically, does that make any sense?
make any sense? And then the shipping, the packaging, the refrigeration,
And a
all
lot of
that
times
stuff.
they'll put pressure on the farmers and say, no, this is what I want to pay for your olive oil, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And a lot of farms have to take it because they want the big deal with the big company, yet they're really not getting paid for the time, effort, and work that they put into it.
Yeah, that's why we love Intimio, because we know, okay, he is paying fair. The small company, we are us too. We have small entrepreneurs. We know how hard it is, so we try to help all the small business up there. So, but this no means that you can do whatever you can,
Right.
Yeah.
We're just explaining what our thought process is and why we choose what we choose.
Yes, exactly.
So we've talked about how to find a good olive oil,
Yes.
what properties you're looking for, why
Yes.
it's important to buy a good quality olive oil. So let's talk about using it.
Oh yes, because people are thinking how I use the olive oil, right? So, example, Intimio have 3 olive oils, and 3 different ways to use it. One is light, and
So it goes for salads and fish, lighter things.
lighter things. Then one is medium, can then go for
Chicken, things like that. And then they have a more strong, which is good for
meat,
stronger dishes that need a bolder olive oil.
Yes. Okay. So in Italy, I think even Greece and France, we put olive oil everywhere. So when you cook the steak, you put olive oil to the top of the steak. Well,
let's clarify. The only place you don't put olive oil is in the pasta water when you're cooking pasta.
Yes.
Please do not put olive oil in your pasta water.
It's a waste.
You don't need it. It does not do anything to keep the pasta from sticking together. All you need to do is stir while you're cooking.
Exactly. Because do you know what? We are the killing dreams, because that was a tradition of the long time ago that was using with fresh pasta, but then I was realizing that they was chemically removed, the sauce non-sticky, and then nothing was happening. And that it was proven scientific.
And especially if you're going to invest in a really good quality olive oil, do not pour it in your pasta water, please.
No, don't do it. But a lot of people ask me, so I need to buy, because this is the most asking, even YouTube, other YouTubers, they say, oh, use a good olive oil for thinning, a bad olive oil for cooking. So this
for finishing.
For finishing, like
sprinkling, drizzling on top of your pasta and your steak and your chicken and things like that.
Guys, they tell you that because they won't tell you buy a olive oil expensive for eating because you're gonna use little, use a cheap olive oil because you use the most for cooking. But you need to always think about with your brain. If you cooking olive oil, it is bad olive oil, obviously it's bad for you. You have all that plastic, all that thing that you eating. So the answer it is, I need to use always the good olive oil even for cooking. The answer is yes. But again,
do what you can do.
Do what you can to do. But the important it is that you know what you're doing. Respect, say, oh, I just use the olive oil because they told me to do that. But remember, you take all the chemicals for that. So
right. You want to be educated about the points and the factors, and then you can choose what you want to do.
Make me a stupid example more, but example when they did the cigarettes, they put in the packets, the smoke is killing,
Mm-hmm.
So that is the thing. Like nobody write you in the packaging, the olive oil, this is killing you, but you need to know. That is what we try to do here. You need to know, and then because you take your decision. That's it.
So yes, we use good quality olive oil to cook and to finish. And yes, so many people are surprised that we do drizzle olive oil on top of our pasta, on top of our salads. This gives the meal an amazing flavor. If you've never taken your plate of pasta and drizzled some olive oil on top, please do it. It is
Yeah.
so good. Try it and then tell us what you think.
Oh my God, when I put my intimio, like I did my pasta at pomodoro, so tomato pasta sauce.
Very basic.
Very basic. And then I just add my intimio and my parmigiano reggiano was a delicious, like a
It took
meal.
it up like 30 levels.
Oh, 30 levels more.
So good.
So good. And you enjoy it a small plate and then you feel to be in a restaurant. So
Yeah, and you made it at home. And
yes.
the game changer was the olive oil.
Yeah, and then some people, medical. I remember in Italy they was telling us that you need to use 1 tablespoon for your meal. Because after it is maybe too much stuff. Like you never need to exaggeration with things. So if you think about using like that, a good olive oil, it stay you at least a month.
Right.
So
And that actually brings us to another point: is that olive oil can go bad. A lot of people think that they can just keep their olive oil in the pantry for years.
Yes.
No, guys. No. Olive oil goes bad, and when it goes bad, it goes really bad.
Yes.
Again, you always want to be smelling your olive oil and smell if it smells fresh or not.
Yeah.
It will oxidize, and once it goes out of its shelf life, you don't want to use it anymore.
No, you remember another thing, Amore, really important. Every olive oil, even the best olive oil in the planet, can go bad. But not can just go bad like storage bad from the company, okay? Somebody imported and then maybe have the best thing, but the shipping is wrong.
Yes, maybe something happened when it was being shipped over or when it was in its storage container,
so,
and it messed up the olive oil.
The olive oil. So I always recommend to buy, example for the Intimio, in the website Intimio, because I know they're gonna ship you directly from his home or his storage.
That's a good point. There are some obviously big, online e-commerce sites that are very easy to shop from. You get fast shipping and it's easy to buy from them, but you cannot necessarily trust.
I don't know what they stores them and how much time.
Exactly. You don't know, and sometimes it can make your really good olive oil go bad.
Exactly.
So again, always smell your olive oil. Be mindful of how long you've had it, how you keep it stored.
Yeah. Don't have that I want immediately the olive oil. Wait the 3 days for the shipping. Control the shipping. If it's different person, can you go with a different person? Look how they shipping the olive oil. Remember, olive oil need to always stay to the top. When they're shipping, the bottom need to stay up. If they're shipping you at the bottom horizontal, you already know this guy, I don't know nothing about oil.
And keep in mind that when your olive oil oxidizes or it goes rancid, it loses all of its extremely good health properties.
Yes.
Health benefits.
So this is a really, really hard,
there's so much that goes into it.
So much, right, Amore?
And it feels so scientific and technical when we talk about it.
Yes.
But there's just so much to talk about and so many points to touch on.
Exactly, so many. So I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Go watch our YouTube video about the olive oil and write question about it, because we try to bring Daniele in our podcast and YouTube channel, answer all your specific questions.
He's so knowledgeable, and this is such a passion for him. He's done so much research. He spent years learning the ins and outs of great olive oil, so he is really, really amazing.
I mean, guys, we're gonna bring you a big expert from Italy, so please write comments.
Yes.
Write questions, because we want Soccer Up all his time. He gonna be there, answer all the questions, but because we want to be more educated in this thing, in this world, it is a lot of propaganda wrong, and we want to spread the good positive vibe for olive oil, And
exactly.
So,
and should we talk about one final thing? Because you mentioned propaganda.
Yes.
Everybody always talks about the great olive oil scam, where all the olive oil that comes from Italy is fake.
Yeah. It can maybe it's from mafia or other things.
Right. And it's dangerous. You can't trust it. All this stuff.
Yeah. Guess what?
That's fake.
That is fake. That is the propaganda for pushing different olive oils from
Different areas.
different areas. We don't want to say it, but try think about
Obviously, it's a battle between people who produce olive oil.
it. Exactly.
And you're always going to want to try and take down competition.
Exactly.
So I would just say, do your own research.
Exactly.
And take what you hear at face value.
Yes.
And know that not everything you hear or read about olive oil scams is true.
Exactly. So take the information and just check it out yourself.
Exactly. I mean, there are good and bad players in all throughout the olive oil industry.
Yes. Yes.
No matter where it's coming from.
It doesn't matter more.
You can have people who are honest and you can have people who are dishonest.
Exactly.
And, you have to do your own research and try and figure it out as best that you can.
Exactly. So please, again, go write a comment. I want to tell you guys, we going to Italy. So if you want to see our travel right now, please go subscribe Instagram because the story is going to be crazy.
All of our Instagram stories are about to blow up with Italian fun.
Yes, so we're going to try show you a lot of places in Italy, north, in the center, Rome. And so maybe you're going to see some tips that nobody knows, even some food. So podcast is going to stop for maybe 2 weeks.
Yes, we are going to take a little bit of a break so that we can enjoy our trip to Italy, but we will be back doing more podcast episodes when we return.
Exactly.
In the meantime, make sure that you're following all of our social media channels at the Pasinis, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and especially Instagram if you want to follow along with all of our Italian travel fun over the next couple of weeks.
Yes, and then if you feel good today, just write a review of this podcast, guys.
Yes, rating and reviews, they're always really, really appreciated.
Okay, guys, we appreciate it to stay with us in this episode. And like always, ciao ragazzi!
Bye, guys!